How's it going, everyone? For the best viewing experience, please set this streaming presentation quality manually to 720p. My name's Josh Stinson with CodeEnvy. Thanks for attending CheConf16 2016. In this session, our presenters, Martin Albacetti with Bitnami, and our very own Florent Benoit with CodeEnvy will share with you their presentation, Host Any Project in Che. We have Che committers in the conference chat who will do their best to answer all your questions. If you have questions that don't get answered, please feel free to contact us on our GitHub repo. You can start your presentation when you're ready.
All right. Hello, everybody. As just said, I'm Martin Albacetti. I work at Bitnami. Let me share my screen with you so we can get started here. Make sure I pick the right screen. I think this is it. All right. So here we go. So saying I work for Bitnami as a senior software architect. Bitnami is a company that's been around for a while, and basically the leading provider of up-to-date open source applications in different clouds and containers as well. We put a lot of work into making sure our images have all the latest security updates, that they are pre-configured to be ready to use. They have good and consistent documentation, and it's a pretty wide range of software that we put together and keep up to date. We have let me put this on screen so it's a little bit easier. So we have 7 Che stacks, and Florent here will talk more about what stacks are within Che. But Bitnami has put 7 Che stacks together at the moment that you can readily use to build your projects on, which is these 7: CodeIgniter, Express, Laravel, Play for Java, Ruby on Rails, Swift, and Symfony. So we have a decent range of stacks already up there, and we'll likely continue to add more. And today I mostly want to talk about how Eclipse Che and Bitnami stacks sit together really nicely with each other, and how they complement each other well, and what's sort of available pretty easily if you start using them. I want to focus on kind of a demo of showing what I think is generally considered best practice workflows for development processes, which is using source control, in this case Git, to keep track of all your changes, and having not pushing directly to master, and having a Jenkins job basically run your tests, and if they pass, merging it back in. So I'll show you how this kind of fits in all neatly together. I don't know about you, but over the years I've trashed my operating system environments, whatever those have been, many times by just setting up development environments. They quickly pollute your development, your operating system space, and as soon as you try to do something different, things start to get ugly really fast. So for me, like as soon as it was viable, I moved all my development processes outside of my laptop onto the cloud, and then when containers came in, you could sort of mix and match a lot better. But the nice thing about Che is that it's essentially enabled both of those things to work together really nicely. So that's what I want to show you. So let's try out the Node.js Express stack. I think that's what I'd like to demo for you. And let's bring up Che. I have a Che server already running. This is running in a VM on Google's cloud. It's packaged and maintained by Bitnami, which is one of the things I'm here to highlight. And I started working on a little bit of code early on, just so you don't have to watch me try and curse and type and search on Stack Overflow why I wrote code. I think everybody's well familiar with that process. So as you can see here, it's just a bunch of Node.js code and Express, and it uses it's a basic CRUD app, which we'll see in a bit. It's a to-do list, which is something I think we've all built at some time in our career. I picked MongoDB as a database because it's sort of what the cool kids are using these days, and we happen to have a really nice image of that with Bitnami. So this is using the Bitnami Express stack, and let me just show you what it is that we're running. And as you can see, there's a command ready to run the project, which gives me a nice URL, which I can click, and you can see this running, right? This is running in a VM on the cloud using a container in the hood, and it's all just really well magically integrated together. So let me just prove that this works. And one of my to-dos will be to buy food, because we all need food. And then you can see you can click on it. It works. I can refresh. It's persisted. So there's a database involved. And you can see all of this sort of logged here in the terminal. But here it's a submit. So let's make a small edit, and instead of submit, let's be more explicit and call it save. And if we go back here and refresh, you'll see it's already changed. So for me, particularly, I really like this flow of I didn't even have to hit save. So I like the fact that barriers are being removed and everything sort of integrates well into each other. So let's pretend this is the change that I want to submit. Let's commit this, right? So let's commit. This is a nice commit dialog here where I can just say add all my changes except new files, which is what I want. And what we're doing is we're replacing the word submit with the word save. And let's commit this to Git. That's good. This is the revision. And then let's do a Git push. And in this case, we're going to push to an integration branch. And as you can see, everything is really nicely integrated with Git. It figures out what branches there are there. I get the options, so I personally really like this. And we'll click on push, and it successfully pushed to GitHub to CheConf repository. So on the other side here, what I have is a Jenkins running. I've set this up also on Google's cloud. There's a ready image built by Bitnami, and you can see a job just automagically kicked off. And let's take a peek at what this is doing. And it already finished. So essentially, we pushed this Jenkins instance, which I, by the way, set up in less than 5 minutes. Sees all my branches. It figures out there's a new revision. It merges. If it merged cleanly, it moves on and runs my testing script, which is called test and merge, and the test pass. So once the test pass, it merges into master, and you can see it pushes it to master. And I'll show you on this other side, I have the Git repo. And if you look at the commits, you can see the commit we've just completed. So I walked through this quite a bit quickly, but let's move back and let's take a step back and think about what we saw, right? So what we saw here is nothing is running on my laptop, and I think that's pretty great nowadays. I didn't have to configure anything on my laptop. Che was running remotely. It had my code. I could use Git, I could use all my familiar tools. The live editing was really cool. I've gone to the extent where I'm starting to use Chromebooks a lot, really lightweight machines that can't even run code at all. And the fact that all of this happens remotely really cleanly and similar to what I'm familiar with, I think is really, really cool. And then we used a Bitnami development stack that had Node.js and Express and MongoDB and everything already baked in. I didn't have to configure anything. I have to think about. I just started off that stack. I threw some code at it. It ran. It's running in the cloud, and I could easily get everything connected, right? And then it pushed to GitHub. I could use integration branch. All that was hassle-free. You can see I didn't run any terminal commands to get around anything. And then Jenkins automatically detected changes and merged them into master once tests pass. So I think this is a pretty neat way of developing and capture best practices with what we have with Che, plus all the different containers and VMs that we produce at Bitnami. And I think I'm going to hand over now to Florent.
Yep. So my name is Josh Stinson with CodeEnvy, and I'm here to introduce Florent Benoit from CodeEnvy as well. Florent, take it away.
Thank you, Josh. Good afternoon and good evening for other people. So I will share my screen. So as Josh said, I'm a lead engineer at CodeEnvy, and today I will present you the stacks inside Eclipse Che. And another great improvement in Che, it's a Che file. It's the ability to clone a project on your local computer, and with only one command to be able to boot Eclipse Che with your local file system. So Martin show you some stacks for Bitnami. I will show you how to create some stacks inside Eclipse Che. So a stack is consists in the workspace runtime and a set of commands. So for example, when you want to have a dedicated Docker container with a special environment, you will create a new workspace runtime, and it's called a stack. You have the choice. You can have single machine or multiple machine. For that, we are using Docker Compose. So you may have one machine with Java and another machine with MySQL. And then you are able to boot a workspace with several machines. Until now, when you wanted to add some stacks, you had to create some assemblies. But now, in the latest version of Eclipse Che, we are able to add custom stack with the dashboard. So when you want to add a stack, first you need to define the Docker runtime. So you have two choices. Either you write your own Docker file. So in my case, it's to add a new Go stack. So I have created the Docker file, and I download the Go runtime, and I unpack the Go runtime, and I add the Go into my path. The other way, when you want to do some stacks, is to use existing Docker images. So what I've done is that I've pushed my Docker file to Docker Hub as a new Docker image. So everyone can grab my Docker image from Docker Hub, and it will be able to use my Go runtime. Next, when you are inside the user dashboard, so I will present you a demo live after that. You can create a new stack by giving the image, the Docker image that you want to use. You give an ID. So the ID needs to be unique for all the stacks. And you can give some name and some descriptions. The tags are useful when you want to search for some stacks. For example, if you search from stacks that include Go, then you have to add the Go tag. The components list all your components inside your Docker image. So you may tell, for example, in this example, that you have Go runtime with version 1.6. But if you are using Ubuntu image, you may want to say that it's Ubuntu and the version of the Ubuntu as a component. This is to describe your stack. As I said in the introduction, a stack is composed of the runtime and a set of commands. So in my case, I want to add some commands to be able to run my application. And for that, I will define a new command named run. And I will say, each time you call this command, execute go run. And for this, I'm using an Eclipse Che macro. And it says that it will call the path of the current file in my Explorer. So if I select another file, it will invoke go run on this file. We have here a custom type because we can define some Maven command and other kind of type. I will not describe all the macro, but you have some different kind of macro. First, you have some macro for the current editor. So when you are inside Eclipse Che and you have a file open, you can grab this current file open. You can have the Explorer selection as a macro. So you can invoke some command for the current selection inside the Explorer. And as we are using Docker, the server macro are useful because it may help you to know the exposed port. For example, if you listen on the 8080 port inside the Docker container, by using server.http.8080, you are able to get the exposed port. You may want to use the workspace name and the host name and the host IP. So we can define stacks by using single machine, but we are able to use Docker Compose stacks. So when you want to create Docker Compose stack, you define and you use your Docker Compose file, and you insert the content of the file inside the JSON of the stack. And you say for this that the content type is application YAML, and the type is Compose. Eclipse Che is supporting either Docker Compose or plain Docker file, but it will be easier by a demo. For that, I already have started Eclipse Che on my local computer with CLI. So you can see that Che is available here. I connect to Che, and it asks me to create a new workspace. So here you can see that we can select some existing stacks. So we have ready to go stack or stack library stack. I may write here my own Docker file, or I can use Docker Compose syntax there as well. But in my case, I want to create a stack, and then I will be able to create as many workspaces based on this stack. So I go on the stack, and I create add. So the idea is to add the Golang stack. So I name it Golang. I say I want to add a new command. So we said we want to add a run command. And it's to run the command in the selected path. It's a ready to go stack. We can say it's a Go component with 1.6 version. We will remove the Java tag, but we'll say it's a Go or Go 1.6, and it's my custom stack. And when you are using the UI editor, you are able to see as well the JSON file. So you can edit as well the image. So I want to use my custom Docker image. And I replace in the JSON. And you can see that if I replace inside my JSON file, if I come back here, the UI is updated. So I hit save. Then I have my Go stack available. Next, I go in my workspace. I want to add a new workspace. I will say it's a Go workspace. I go in the runtime, and here we can see my stack. But as we have added some tags, I can filter tags, and I can find it as well here. And we can see it will use from Golang stack. So I hit create, and I open my stack. So what I've done is that I added a Go stack, and I've created a workspace based on this runtime. So we can see when the workspace is booting that it's using the Docker image from Golang. I already have the image on my computer, so there is no need to download it again. Then the workspace agent is booting, the SSH agent is booting, and the terminal agent as well. So here, if I go in USR local Go, we can see that all the tools for Go are there. And my command run is there as well. So if I try to execute my command, it says no Go file listed because no file is selected in the project explorer. So for that, I will create a new project. I select Brum project. Okay, I create my project. Then when my project is created, I will add a new file, which is a Go file. Okay. And I will add a new hello world Go sample. And then if I click run again, we can see that my stack and my command is working. So it was pretty simple to use that. I've added my stack, my commands. I've just created a blank project, and I have added my file, and it's working. So we may want to add a new command, for example, instead of doing the run, we can say do the build. But if I do this, my command will be only inside my workspace. So it could be better to add this command here inside my stack. So that was all for the demo of the stacks. Next, it's a Che file and Che usage. So I have said in the introduction, the goal of Che file is to be able to boot an Eclipse Che instance based on your local file system. So here are the steps. First, we need to clone a project, or you can use an existing folder where your project is. Then you call the CheDup command, and you will have the workspace which will be booting and ready, and it will print the URL. And by connecting to this URL, you will be able to get your workspace. By default, if you don't do anything, the CheDup or CheDinit command will create a new default Che file. So this Che file is a default file with a default runtime with the Ubuntu image. You don't have any project type already set. You will have the blank project type. You have a set of dummy commands. So you have to, if you want to customize this command, you have to provide your own Che file. And by default, the memory is 2 GB. So the idea is that you are able to onboard very quickly on Eclipse Che by doing CheDinit or CheDup. But if you want to customize the settings, you have to provide your own Che file. The Che file syntax is pretty simple, in fact. We can see the set of commands and the syntax. So for example, you can define the name of your workspace. By default, it is local. You can select the workspace runtime. So in my case, it's a Docker image. You can define the workspace memory for all your workspace. So here it's 2 GB. And you can define as many commands as you want. It's similar to what we saw with the stacks. You define the name of the command, the type of the command. In my case here, it's to run the Maven clean install command inside the current project. And at the end, you can add a post-load action. So each time you will enter inside the CheDup workspace, this command will be called. So it's called a post-load action command. So for the post-load action, you can call either a script or an existing command that you have defined inside your workspace. So I will do a live demo of this as well. So here I'm inside my current directory. I have nothing. And I will clone a pet clinic application. So I can see my application there, and I call CheDup. So what will do Eclipse Che? We can see that it's generating a default Che file. So for example, if I go to another terminal and go to this file, you can see that we will have a default command, a default blank type, a default memory, and my workspace will be called local. So if I go back here, it's telling me that my Eclipse Che instance is currently running on localhost 8080, but it's still in the process of creating my workspace and booting my workspace. In my case, it is booting the Ubuntu image. And when the workspace will be created, it will display the URL. It has as well generated the SSH key, and then with that, we are able to connect to your workspace. So I just have to copy this. I go inside the browser. And if I connect, I can see that my local workspace is there, and we can see the files. So for example, if I edit locally the README file, it's on my computer, and I save this file. If I go back to Eclipse Che and open the file, we can see the change. It's because my local folder is mounted inside Eclipse Che instance. So if I go on projects, we can see the files that are on my local computer. So at the end, if I shut down Eclipse Che, the file of my project are still there. So I can edit as well the file there. And I can save it as well. And if I go back to my local computer, we can see that I'm editing the same file from Che and from my local computer. Okay. Then what I want to do here is that by default, it's a blank project type. So here we can see that the project is not considered as a Java project. So I need to use update Java configuration and set this project being a Maven project. And by doing this, it's configuring my project being a Java project, and it will bring me all the Java IntelliSense. So we can see here that the Java project and the Java folder is being blue. It means that it's now a Java package. And if I edit some classes, and if I enter ID, it will bring me all the IntelliSense. So I only add clone the project locally in my computer, perform chd up, configure the project type to be Maven, and I'm able to edit my files. So the next idea is to be able to do the same stuff, but by providing my own Che file. So for that, I will use another example. Here it's a GitHub repository, which is called Che file sample, and I've committed a Che file inside this repository. The main difference is that I've set the project type being Maven. I define a custom command to be build and run, so it will build my project. And I have a post-load action, which is build and run. Okay, so I'm cleaning the whole process. I clone my project, which is Che file sample. The Che file is there, and I do chd up. So this time, it will not take the default empty Che file. It will use my own Che file that I've provided inside my repository. And then I will be able to customize the runtime of the Docker stack. I will be able to provide the commands and as well to provide post-load action and the project type. So again, it's still starting Eclipse Che. Then it will create and boot the workspace. So if I connect on localhost 8080, see that my local workspace is being starting. So it's still booting. It takes time to generate SSH key, etc. Then I can use the same URL than before. And here I'm again inside the IDE, but this time you can see that there is a Maven command already running, which is building my project. If I go inside the project and try to see, it's already a Maven project. So I have nothing to do. My project is already configured to work inside Eclipse Che. So I only have to clone my project with a Che file called CheDear and that's all. The project is working. So here I have all the IntelliSense as well already available. And for example, if I hit the command, we can see the previewer and then the pet store application is running. So if I want to try my project, I only have to say to people, clone my project and call CheDear. That's pretty simple. Okay, so we have some other commands for CheDear. I've shown you CheDear init and CheDear. We have the status command. So if you enter CheDear status, it will display the URL of the instance for this folder, and if it's running or not. We have the CheDear SSH command as well. So if you want to go inside your Docker container of your workspace, and then here I'm on the Ubuntu image. I'm inside the container, not on my Mac computer. And you have the CheDear done and CheDear destroy command. So the main difference is that with CheDear done, you will only stop Eclipse Che. And if you do CheDear destroy, you will get rid of all Eclipse Che. Only your project is kept. So what you should do is to host your own Che file in your GitHub repository or inside your GitLab repository. And then you should be able to use CheDear very easily. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Florent, would you be willing to show us the stack editor for the Java MySQL Compose stack? We've had some questions from about terminals and other agents in Compose.
Yeah, it's a recipe, the Docker Compose recipe for the Java MySQL runtime stack. And what was the question?
We just wanted to see this, if you could show us that, and then after you run the stack, can you show people the two terminals for the two machines?
Yeah, okay. So this time it will use Java MySQL stack. It may take some time to boot the two image, but at the end I will have two terminal, one for my Ubuntu image and another one for MySQL image.
And then could you also show us the actual config buttons for the terminal?
The configure button?
For the terminal.
Okay, so for this I will go inside this workspace. I mean this kind? this kind of option.
Can you open a separate tab with the stack view and show the sliders to show the agents? And can you show how to turn the agents on and off in stack editing?
Okay.
Thank you.
So if we want to configure the agents for a stack and for the workspace, you can go inside the workspace. Then for each machine, so for this one, I only have one machine, but you have a toggle to enable or disable the agent. So in my case, SSH and terminal are enabled, but if I want to turn off this agent, I can toggle. And by applying save, my workspace will be restarted, and then I will lose the SSH and terminal access. I think that during that time, the Java MySQL has been started as well. So I have the two terminals. One terminal for MySQL, and I'm root. And you can see that we have the MySQL process. And another terminal for the dev machine. I'm user, and there is no MySQL. And then we can execute command show database on the DB instance, like this. So we can select the machine on which send the command. Okay, I don't know if we have other questions. Okay, so the next session will be Docker in Che in a few minutes, I think. And thank you to all Eclipse Che committers.
So this concludes our session and our presentation with Martin Florent on host any project in Che with stacks and Che files. James will be hosting our next session, Docker 101 with Docker and Che with Patrick from Docker and our founder Tyler with CodeEnvy in just a moment. You'll be automatically redirected to the next sessions. Thank you for participating since 2016. This will be a quick break, and we'll be back on in 15 minutes with Docker 101 and Che in the Docker.